Welcome to the show, guys. We are talking Week 10. Yes, Week 10 optimal DFS plays. It's also going to help you guys with your starts and sits as well, giving you all the optimal players, whether you're trying to make a decision between this guy and that guy. These guys have the greatest matchups. I'll make some recommendations and some value plays to help you guys with your DraftKings and Fanduel lineups or whatever type of daily fantasy you like to play. Now, I love daily fantasy because it gives me that opportunity to recycle and go through new players instead of just being stuck with the same team. Although I love my year-long team, I like DFS for the fact that I could, have that flexibility week in, week out. You guys know how it works for DraftKings and FanDuel. So before I get into this, guys, I want to let you know this show is actually brought to you by mybookie.ag. Enhance that game watching experience. I did really well this past week with the UFC. You guys can too with UFC, basketball, football, whatever you guys want to do to enhance that game watching experience. Go to mybookie.ag. Use promo code FFC for Fantasy Football Counselor. FFC at mybookie.ag. They will double your first deposit, guys. This is absolutely huge. Double your first deposit. That's mybookie.ag, promo code FFC. Go, guys. And believe me, guys, this is a site I like and I really love. mybookie.ag, promo code FFC. If you're new to the channel, make sure you guys do hit the thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And of course, guys, manscaped.com. Use promo code ShowerLion. Save yourself 20%. I've been using their body wash shampoo. It's been phenomenal. Smells amazing. I smell amazing. Feels really good, guys. Manscaped.com, ShowerLion. Sponsors are plugged. And I'm giving you guys value. Everything I promote, I want to make sure that you guys use it, like it, love it. It's going to benefit you guys one way or another. And again, the product at manscaped.com is phenomenal. Use promo code ShowerLion, save 20%. And, Christmas is around the corner. All right, guys? All right, let's talk about the optimal plays, each position, the guys that I like. Let's roll into it. Now, we're looking at quarterback. When I'm playing daily fantasy, DraftKings, FanDuel, whatever it is, I look at quarterback. I always make sure I get an ace quarterback, a quarterback that's going to perform on a high level week in, week out. Now, some players, even though they're great, like Justin Herbert had two kind of mediocre weeks, bounced back the past week, okay? Matt Stafford, 2 big weeks, kind of had a slow week the past week. He had a 30-pointer, 27, last week 15 points. So there is some volatility, but for the most part, Josh Allen had a mediocre week last week, right? Even though there's some certainty, sometimes they have down games. So we want to try to make sure that we get the right quarterback. This week, particularly, Stafford, great matchup, okay? Make sure you start him, $7,000. Josh Allen, more expensive on DraftKings, $7,900. Due for a bounce-back game versus the Jets, though. It is a divisional game. Be careful, right? It is a divisional game, so they may keep Josh Allen at bay, possibly. And I'm paying $7,900. I kind of like Matt Stafford there. A little bit more value at $7,000, okay? Dak Prescott, good matchup. Matt Ryan, love the value at $6,000, coming off a huge 32-point week. Love him, okay? Easy matchup versus Dallas. Derek Carr, coming off a 13-point week, good matchup. Carson Wentz, been red hot. Carson Wentz, great matchup versus Jacksonville. So if you want quarterbacks, those are the guys I particularly like. Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, kind of the value. If you want to pay a little bit more, you got Stafford, you got Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson's also got a great matchup, and Tom Brady, also good options. I wouldn't stray away from any other guys that I just mentioned. I would start these guys because, again, good matchup, good talent, and they're going to produce on a high level. Pat Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Ryan Tannehill, all tougher matchups this week, just so you are aware. I do a starts and sits episode on Friday, which I'll cover that. Moving on to running back position. Let's talk about it. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but Dalvin Cook dealing with some domestic issues now. Okay, so Dalvin Cook, I don't know if you heard, and I don't know all the details, but he is facing some domestic issues with an ex-girlfriend. I think they dated for 3 years, according to, I was reading this TMZ article, dated for 3 years. She's alleging that he beat on her back in I think November 2020. I don't want to be misquoted here. And then he is claiming that he is a victim of extortion. There's also a video of her threatening to pull a gun on him, which is crazy. So yeah, this is going to be a problem, possible suspension. If in fact Dalvin Cook is accused and possibly charged, we don't know. There's so much uncertainty regarding the situation. We don't know who's right, who's wrong. But this could be a problem in regards to, off-field issues sometimes really play a factor. And on-field issues, this could be a fantasy-relevant issue for Dalvin Cook. And again, the thing that she's got, I don't know if it's photoshopped or not, is a text message of her face and him, some correspondence with him apologizing or something like that. I posted on my Instagram at Fantasy Football Account, so check it out. We don't know what's true. We don't know. That's not up to us to decide. But I will tell you, Dalvin Cook does have a good matchup this week, but he's $8,000 on DraftKings. So just be cautious there. Good matchup, though, for Dalvin Cook. Coming off a 18-pointer last week. Not bad, but also not good. The week before, a very low 8-pointer. Najee Harris, great matchup. I'm starting Najee Harris. He's $7,900. Austin Eckler, Zeke Elliott, Aaron Jones, all great matchup. Aaron Jones coming off a terrible 5-point week last week, okay? Melvin Gordon, great matchup, good value. Melvin Gordon, some value plays. Devin Singletary, optimal matchup versus the Jets, and great value at $4,700. I'm trying to see if there's any other value here. A.J. Dillon had a 13-pointer last week. I would consider starting him. Good matchup if you want that value running back. That's only if you want the value. Who else is there here? I'm just trying to think if there's any other good value here. Again, with running back, Jonathan Taylor, mid-range matchup, he's expensive, $8,100. But again, I'm starting a Najee Harris. I'm going to pay more for DFS for a running back that I know is going to produce. Darrell Henderson at $6,400, not bad, medium matchup. Josh Jacobs, $6,200. So Jacobs, Henderson, Zeke Elliott, Najee Harris, Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, all good starts. Cordell Patterson, he's been solid. He's still expensive at $6,600, but he's got a tougher matchup, guys, okay? 8th hardest for his position. And James Conner, good value at $6,300, coming off a huge 40-pointer. He does have it in tough versus Carolina's rush defense. 7th hardest versus position. So, yeah, you're like Patterson, Conner, good players, but they do have it in tough. Just keep that in the back of your mind when you're looking at running backs, okay? Moving on to wide receiver here. Cooper Kupp, been red hot, very expensive, $9,500, and 9th hardest matchup versus position. So if you are looking at Cooper Kupp, be cautious, okay? Devontae Adams, mid-range matchup, coming off a mediocre week, 10 points. But again, Aaron Rodgers, if he plays, I haven't looked at Aaron Rodgers. I think he is getting fined. I'm not sure if he's playing. I don't think he is. But take a look. I think he should be back. But Devontae Adams, mid-range matchup, be cautious there. A.J. Brown, great matchup versus the Saints. Chris Godwin, great matchup, but you're playing wide receiver roulette there. Who's going to get the ball? We don't know. Godwin, the beneficiary last time they played, right? 31 points. Keenan Allen, 25-point week coming off that. Good. Deontay Johnson, consistent as they come. Mid-range matchup. Like him. Mike Williams, been crap the past 3 weeks. Good matchup versus Minnesota. Is he going to bounce back? He's a guy at $6,600 you may want to take a risk on. Not bad value, but again, boom or bust. Michael Pittman, $6,300, been rock solid the past 3 weeks. Michael Pittman, good matchup. Antonio Brown, I think he's still banged up, still got the vid. I'm not sure what his situation is, but be cautious with him, but he does have a good matchup if he plays. Hunter Renfrow, solid as they come, mid-range matchup, $5,100, great value, consistent red zone target, love him. Tyreek Hill, coming off a crappy week, very tough matchup this week versus the Raiders, tough matchup. Him and Jefferson. Jefferson, mediocre week last week, tough matchup, okay? Stephon Diggs, mediocre week last week, 8th hardest matchup versus position. Deebo Samuel, tough matchup. So Deebo, Diggs, Tyreek, Jefferson, tough matchups this week, okay? Adam Thielen, Jefferson, of course, tough matchup as well. But someone's got to catch the ball. And, Thielen at $6,700, I kind of like that. He's due for a bounce back week. Had a mediocre week last week. Other value, Julio Jones, $5,400, but very hard to trust. Does have a good matchup. And, I really like Pittman this week for DFS. He's been rock solid. I'm trying to see. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he hasn't been that good. He had 8 points last week. Does have a good matchup. And, I would definitely go with some of the guys I mentioned here. Again, who do I like here? I like Deontay Johnson, safe and solid as they come. Michael Pittman, safe and solid as they come. I like Renfrow, like I mentioned. And again, be cautious with the Diggs, Jefferson, and McLaurin. Tough matchups, okay? Be cautious there. If you want to go value as well, $6,300, you could consider DJ Moore. He's been average at best. Devontae Smith coming off a big week, $5,900. Not bad value, but a mid-range matchup, okay? If you need to go back and listen to this, go back and listen to this. There's a lot of information here. Make sure you guys are starting the right people for DFS, all right? Tight ends here. Start the best possible tight end. Darren Waller, great matchup, $6,300. Kyle Pitts, love the value, due for a bounce back week, $5,800. I'm all over Pitts this week. Great matchup, good value. Mark Andrews, $5,700, great value. 12th easiest matchup for his position. So he's kind of mid-range there. Hawkinson coming off a good week, $5,500, good value. Gesicki, 9-point week last week. Great matchup, arguably the easiest matchup versus position versus Baltimore, as they play tight ends a little weaker. So Mike Gesicki, great matchup there. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else. Kelsey's got a great matchup, but you're paying $6,900, very expensive, and he's been average at best. Yeah, I mean, Mo Alley Cox, he's been kind of crappy, but great matchup there. He's very touchdown dependent, so he has to have a touchdown. You could roll the dice on tight end. I don't like to. I like to get those consistent guys at tight end. So again, I like going Pitts. I like going Gesicki this week. Kelsey maybe. Kittle, also a decent matchup. I may want to consider Kittle. He's going for around $6,000. So try to go with those safer guys. You'll feel a lot better. Pat Freiermuth, who had a big game last week playing Detroit, decent matchup this week. They play tight ends a little bit tougher. $3,900. You may want to also consider him. With Juju out, more targets for Pat Freiermuth, okay? Tight ends, get a safe one. Don't take too many gambles with that. Quarterback, secure. Running back, secure. And take some risk at the wide receivers, okay? Defense, you also want a good defense, the best possible. I love the Steelers versus Detroit. Love the Bills versus the Jets. Love the Cardinals versus Carolina. And also like the Eagles versus Denver. Honorable mentions, Colts versus Jacksonville and Raiders versus KC. But Pat Mahomes could get going at any single time. All right, guys, that is Daily Fantasy Week 10. I cannot believe we're here. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hopefully this helps you. Leave some questions. I'll try to answer some questions if you have DFS questions below for starts and sits. Let me know if you have any questions, guys. I'll try to get to them, okay? Subscribe to the channel. I'm out. Thumbs up helps it. I appreciate it. Talk soon.